And we just need to learn how to come back to that state of homeostasis and balance. And by doing that, we choose things that are good for our body and set boundaries with food that are causing that imbalance and inflammation in the body.
Welcome to the Multiple Truths podcast. We're your hosts, Holly
and Brittany. This is a space where we can come together healing in community, where we share our self-love journeys, insights, and wisdom.
A space with no hierarchy or judgment, fostering love, compassion, and respect, and where we honor our differences. With open minds and hearts, everyone's truth is welcome here. We are in this together. Let's dive into the episode.
Hello, welcome back to another episode of the Multiple Truths podcast. You are here with Brittany today. And you guys, today I am here with the lovely Shaz. Shaz, hello, welcome.
Hi, I'm so thankful to be here. Thanks for having me.
I'm excited to chat with you today. So for those listening, Shaz and I, we met not too long ago, like via Instagram. And just for some background, if you guys listened to I think it was the last episode with Holly and I talked about how I found out that I have Candida overgrowth in my guts. Yummy, yummy. And I have to really kind of go on a diet essentially for now, temporary. And I'm a 1 week in. I'm easing into it, but today marks the second week, and I'm honestly feeling good. I'm feeling excited. And Shaz, I happen to connect with, seems to know a lot about Candida because you've been through your own journey, right? So I'm just going to pass it over to you. I would love to, for those listening, what is your story? Why do you do what you do? Because Shaz works with women. She helps, or I don't know if it's just women. Is it people in general? I don't know why I said women, but
That's okay. I work with mostly women, but I do work
Mhm.
with men because men do suffer as well with
Okay,
candida.
yes. So Shaz works with men, women, and I'm sure everyone in between to help support them through their own journey. It's just funny the timing of, her and I connecting online and me starting this journey. So I'm excited to have this conversation. And for any of you listening, maybe you're going through your own, I don't know, maybe you're also trying to eliminate Candida from your gut. I know for me, just really quickly before we pass it off to Shaz, because I want to hear your story and everything. I didn't know that I was living with this. Like I had this for the longest time. And if you followed me for a while now, if for those listening, if you've seen my self-love series on YouTube, that was back in 2024. So a couple years ago now. And I remember during that time, like I was like, what is going on with my gut? Because in meditations, like I was meditating on why I would have these flare-ups on my skin and why my scalp was so dry, because it's something that I've like literally dealt with for years now, even when I eat like pretty healthy, like for the most part. So I'm like, what is going on? And in my meditations, what kept coming through is my gut, my gut, my gut. And I'm like, okay, well, like, what about my gut? And I tried, different things. I tried removing gluten, I tried removing dairy, and none of that really worked. And through more of my meditations, what kept coming through is sugar. Sugar kept coming through. And it's not that I eat a ton of sugar just on its own, but like I love my maple syrup in the morning with my coffee. It's not necessarily like bad, quote unquote, bad sugar, but like I love my fruit. I love, so sugar's coming through. I'm like, sugar. I'm like, what the heck? Like, it's not even like I'm eating a bunch of candy or a bunch of like junk food in that sort of a way, right? But like I do eat sugar for like, I love my honey, I love my maple syrup, like all of the good, yummy sugars. And that's what was really coming through. And then I got a stool sample done that last year. Yeah, around, I forget exactly when last year, but I had like something, I was just in a lot of pain for like a period of time. And I was sick. I was like, it was coming out of both ends. I was like, I need to get a sample done. I need to know what is going on. And anyways, Candida overgrowth. So that was like right before I went to Europe though. So I was like, I'm going to shelf this for now because I'm going to go to Europe. I'm going to eat what I want when I want. I've been living with this for so long already. And I'm going to, get on this when I get back home. But of course, I got home, the holidays hit. So now is the time. So now is the time. I'm fully committed. And that's when I happened to have met Shaz. So for those of you listening, if you're going through any of those symptoms, maybe you're dealing what I'm dealing with. And that's why I wanted to give that little, disclaimer, or I wanted to talk about it because I didn't know what it was for so long until I got the sample. So with that said, I'm going to pass it off to Shaz. I would love to know your story and just why you're here and why you're so passionate about all of this.
Yeah, thank you. So, very similar to you, a lot of symptoms that go undiagnosed, or
Mhm.
sometimes they do give you a diagnosis like IBS or PCOS and give you medications, and you're feeling really lost, like you're not at home in your body. And someone like people like us, like we're often
Mhm.
very optimistic and bubbly, and we love connecting to spirit. And when we feel something's off, like you can feel it. We were talking, it's like a pathogen that's living in your body and it's taking over your mind a little bit, and you're like, oh, get out of me. But essentially, my journey started because I was a national level gymnast and I had really high hopes to go to the Olympics and I trained really, really hard. But I was always the kid getting sick and they couldn't figure out why. But anytime I got sick, I was put on antibiotics. So it wasn't necessarily bacterial overgrowth. It was just, oh, her throat is inflamed. Her throat is red. Give her antibiotics. Oh, her nose is runny. Give her antibiotics. And it got to the point where I had too many antibiotics, which killed off a lot of my good gut bacteria. And partly maybe my fault as well because I would do anything just to get better to train. I was very like dedicated to the sport. And I even had a really bad wrist injury where I broke the growth plate and it was black and blue. And I would just like tape it till it was numb and take something to like kind of numb the pain and go and train. So that alone, like before even age 12, I did a lot of gut microbiome damage. And then I did get a parasite from drinking too much tap water. And that, of course, didn't help. Yeah. And most people don't know that you can drink tap water and get
From
parasites.
tap water.
Uh,
Ugh.
yeah. So
Mm.
it was gross because I would use the same plastic water bottle in my like gymnastics locker and I would leave it there overnight and it would be warm and I wouldn't change it and then I would just drink it. It was just really gross. So I didn't help myself, I'm sure, but it was
Mhm.
definitely the combination of all of that, getting the parasite and then Canadian thing. But I actually went to Tim Hortons. I remember I was 10 years old and I got their turkey sandwich and immediately got food poisoning. So there was a lot of things leading up to I already had clearly had an environment where bacteria could grow and thrive. I got parasite infection, I got food poisoning, it just kept lingering and no one knew how to help me. And then I got to the point where I was a teen and I had all these issues like very lightheaded, fatigue. And then it got to a point when I was in university that I was fainting. I was actually fainting and the acne was uncontrollable. The skin was bad, like same thing, like itchy. I remember being
Mhm.
in class and itchy, and I would have really bad joint pain. I don't know if you experienced joint pain at all, but mine was really bad. So,
No, I only get joint pain because of past injury. So
mm.
like I get on my knee, specifically my left knee, that flares up, but I know that's because I've injured it in the past, and whenever it's cold outside, it gets worse.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, but no, I remember typing in school and like not like my hands would cramp up and I was like, what is going on? So yeah, I did all the tests and then like the brain test, the heart test, and nobody could figure
Mhm.
out why is she fainting? Why is she struggling with all these symptoms? Specifically the fainting, because that was more of a scary symptom.
Right,
And
right.
then eventually I went the natural way and I was like, you know what, I'm getting off the birth control pill. I'm done
Mhm.
taking medication and I want to figure this out. And
Mhm.
yes, I did a stool test and I had candida, I had E. coli, I had a lot of different things going on in my gut. I had thyroid issues, really bad thyroid issues. And so then like my journey of holistic healing began, which was really hard and isolating because
Mhm.
8 years ago, the word candida was still very taboo. It was like,
Mhm.
what do you mean? That's not even a
Yeah.
thing. Like,
Mhm.
and like I have YouTube videos of people being like, "Oh, I think this might be my problem too. I've never heard of the word candida before." And I'm so glad it's well circulated now and gut health is
Mhm.
becoming bigger. But
Mhm.
yeah, so essentially I was on this self-healing journey And I got to a point where I reversed my PCOS symptoms. I've had 2 kids naturally, which was a big blessing because doctors told me, you're never going to have kids. Like, your PCOS is so incredibly bad. And yeah, I don't feel like I have PCOS. I don't feel like I have IBS, which is irritable bowel syndrome. I've reversed a lot of those issues. And I did a stool test even in 2023 or 4 to confirm if there was anything inside me. And like, there wasn't. I'm still like, my gut is still really resilient and strong. Yeah. So yeah, that's like, I'm really passionate because it felt like it robbed me of my 20s. Essentially, I
Right.
was, when everyone's in their 20s, they're partying and they're
Mhm.
going out, and not necessarily like I wanted to drink, but
Mhm.
it would have been nice to split a pizza with friends or to
Right.
go and have wings and to not have tummy aches or be scared of fainting. So
Right. Yeah,
yeah,
that's extreme. It sounds like your story was, yeah, that's the extreme end. That's, and I want to say it makes sense. Like I find whenever we go through something extreme, we often then on the other side of things end up helping people go through it
yeah,
themselves. Because yeah, my Candida is not. I remember getting a stool sample in the naturopath. He was saying like, oh, it's like you have Candida overgrowth. It's nothing like crazy, but it's definitely there. And yeah, just like ding, 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 everything kind of like made sense based on like my symptoms and everything. But yeah, E. coli in the gut too. That just sounds, where does that come from?
coli can come from anywhere. And because I run stool tests for my clients, and I see it probably 1 in every 3 stool tests. Like, it's really common.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Again, water,
Interesting.
fruit, vegetables, food. A lot of people that go travel places will end up with E. coli because they're just
Mhm.
drinking. They got exposed to the water that they're not used to. That
Yeah.
happens. Or you get food
Yeah.
poisoning, it lingers in your body. All of that things can happen.
Right. Oh my gosh, so crazy. But the
Yeah.
body is so like miraculous, honestly. Like the body it heals. Like the body is able to heal. You just have to
Yes.
give it the right. It's funny. I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday. She lives down the road from me and she has like her own little shop and she studied nutrition and stuff too. And I told her kind of like what I'm, going to be stepping into with the diet. And, she was giving me some tips and whatnot. And then she goes, oh my gosh, it's like the video you posted the other day because I posted a video talking about the queen bee in a hive. And in the hive, the queen bee is no different than the other bees at the beginning. The difference is how she's nourished as she's in the larvae, or I don't know what the scientific words is behind it, but the beehive, when it's time for a new queen bee, they will nourish a certain portion of like the eggs or whatever differently. And
Mm.
that's how the queen bee is born, is created. So it's how you choose to nourish your body. And she was so sweet. She goes, she said, because I was talking about like, oh, I'm gonna be like nourishing my body and it's a gift for my body. And she goes, yeah, kind of like, she's like the queen bee message because you're a queen. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're so cute. I'm like, we're all queens. But yeah, it's like how you nourish your body is so important, and the body is literally a miracle. The body is working for you. The body is on your side. And for me personally, I've been dealing with this since honestly, like for a long time. Like for me, I I think it's been a long time because I relate it to when all of a sudden my scalp started getting really dry and itchy, and that
Mm.
was years ago now, years ago. Like I couldn't pinpoint exactly when, but probably in my early 20s. And I think that's when I started birth control too.
Mm.
Um, yeah, my doctor just put me on it willy-nilly, because I had was having like painful periods. And anyways, no research into it. I didn't know the repercussions of it. And intuitively, I feel like that was the start of it. That's when my hormones, shifted. And that's when I started getting these other symptoms. And I haven't been on birth control now for a while. But once Candida's there, right, it feeds on sugars, like so many different things. So I've been hosting it now for a while and now I'm like, oh my gosh, it makes sense. But I don't think prior to this I would have been in a mentally right place to put myself through a diet to get rid of it, if that makes sense. Like, for me personally on my journey, and those listening, you know that I've been through body image issues for a very, very, very long time. And a lot of us have, right, as a result of the world that we live in. And I have discipline, I've never had an issue with discipline, specifically when it comes to working out and food. But in the past, I did it in a way that was very harmful for me and my body under the guise of self-love. And I remember doing bodybuilding competitions, restricting so much food, being afraid of eating certain foods, or always wanting to do a fast to lose weight or to, you get what I'm saying. And I had to swing to the other end of the pendulum for a while, just not caring, eating whatever I wanted when I wanted, not working out. And then I've been finding like that middle ground for a while now. And now I actually feel like I'm mentally healthy enough to um, embark on a diet, if that even makes sense, because now I'm genuinely doing it from a place, like genuinely, I'm doing it from a place of like self love. And I'm excited about this. It's funny because last night I cooked myself fish with I put a little bit of butter on it. I'm like, can I, because I looked online and they say you could have like little bits of butter as long as it's not like too much.
Yeah.
So I put some butter, salt, pepper, and lemon, and I made myself green beans to go along with it. And it was almost like a flashback moment to bodybuilding days because I
Mhm.
remember having so much white fish with green beans. But I remember back then I was just like eating it because I had to.
Mm.
And I looked at the meal now and I was just like, it gave me a little bit of a flashback. But as I was eating it, I was actually enjoying it. I was like, do you know what? This actually feels really good. And I'm excited it was just such an interesting shift. And, I also feel like going through this, and it makes me a little emotional, actually. I'm getting chills. I feel into this. It's like going through this diet again with such a different mindset in comparison to how I needed to diet in the past for bodybuilding is going to be healing in and of itself. Like it's going to be healing my gut, but it's also healing my relationship with diet because diet is so important, right? Not that you had like I don't agree in fad diets or anything like that, but like going on a diet for a certain period of time for whatever reason, for me, I'm going on a diet because I'm just going to call it diet because that's what I did. It is. I know that's a trigger word for people, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm choosing to go on this diet to nourish my body, to give my body what it needs so that it can heal because my body is on my side. And I'm speaking emotionally when just talking about
I
it.
love that.
Um, so yeah, it's just like an interesting reframe. Anyways, I went off on a tangent there, but I'm sure, you can relate to that. And I know you said that, you can, and I'm sure you have a lot of clients that do as well.
Yeah, 100%. And that's exactly what like I teach as well. And I think we had the conversation where it's not good food versus bad food. We're just setting boundaries with
Mhm.
things that are causing our body inflammation in this time. And that
Mhm.
really is a good mindset to go into it and to change the relationship with food. Like
Mhm.
exactly the way you put it. We're not
Mhm.
eating this to like accomplish, yes, we're trying to heal candida, but at the end of the day, we actually need candida in our body, and even
Mhm.
reframing that can be helpful. Like we
Mhm.
all need candida, we all need that type of like yeast in our body. It just
Mhm.
doesn't need to be in an overgrowth. So we don't
Mhm.
want to go in thinking, I want to kill all this candida, I want it out of me. No, we do need it, and we just
Mhm.
need to learn how to come back to that state of homeostasis and
Mhm.
balance. And by
Mhm.
doing that, we choose things that are good for our body and set boundaries with food that are causing that imbalance and inflammation in
Mhm.
the body.
Mhm.
And it's really not about perfection. And even you mentioned, like, oh, I looked online that a little bit of butter is okay. The fact that your intention is to heal and
Mhm.
your intention is self-love and you're choosing foods that are good for your heart, your
Mhm.
soul, your temple, I think that will always overpower the
Mhm.
right food, the
Mhm.
perfect meal. And the like it's
Mhm.
progress over perfection always. And
Mhm.
I'm 100% believer in a gentle approach to healing. So I
Mhm.
think all of the things that you said were so incredibly beautiful and powerful because a lot of women do struggle with body image and struggle with the social media, like eggs are bad, eggs are good, and you were saying like sardines are all over the internet right now. It's really hard to keep up with trends. It's just,
Mhm.
I think, yeah, like going back to what feels good for me right now, what would make my heart and my body feel nourished is a
Mhm.
beautiful place to be in. I'm proud of you.
Mhm.
Oh, I'm proud of you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm actually like excited. I mean, there is a part of me that knows that I'm going to be challenged at points. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like
Yeah.
even this morning, because today is like the day I'm choosing to. So week one, I cut out all dairy and coffee, like my coffee in the morning. And week two, I'm cutting out sugar and bread. Um, because I really feel like I'm at a mind space where I'm like really I'm ready to dive into this and I'm excited for it. And anyways, my morning drink, I made a matcha because you can have matcha. And I made matcha yesterday too, but yesterday I made it with my maple syrup, which was delicious, delicious. And today I'm like, "Oh no, like no maple syrup today." So I made my matcha. I make it with like pure coconut milk. And I put some stevia, like pure leaf stevia drops in it,
Yeah.
which is okay. It's not the same. It's not the same. So
Like,
it
so
was I was
put maple syrup in our drink though. I think is that a thing that we do?
wait, say that again?
Is it just a Canadian thing to put maple syrup in our drinks? Because
Maybe.
I love doing
Most most of my audience is from America. I mean, we have audience from all over, but most is from America. They're gonna be like, "What the hell are these women
yeah,
putting maple syrup?" But
you're
it sounds like
I was like, you're talking so Canadian. I love it, but yeah.
wait, that's so funny because that sounds like such a Canadian thing. But maple syrup, I mean, I love honey too, but there's something about maple
No,
syrup,
maple syrup tastes
guys.
much better. I
It
agree. And then
does. It
yeah.
does. Maple syrup's good, and I am a honey lover too, don't get me wrong, but maple syrup, man, it's like you can't beat it. So, yeah, anyways, I'm a little sad about that. So that for me is gonna be my I think, like, the biggest challenge is, like, eliminating the sugar because I love like, sugar, and I'm not even talking about, like I said before, candies and that sort of a sugar because 'cause I'm not even a big fan of candy, to be honest, but it's, like, the maple syrup in my coffee or, I'm not even having coffee, but in my morning drink. I
The bake
like sweet. I like having sweet. I like a little dessert at night, or I love to put, even if I make, let's say, one and obviously I'm not eating this, but I'd love to have, like, Greek yogurt with some peanut butter, mix it up with some honey.
mm,
And then that I like to put honey, and then chocolate chips. That's a nice little sweet treat. So I'm like that. I think I'm going to struggle with the most is the having my little sweetness. But what I've been doing, just for those listening, if you're going through this too, this is, and I'm going to figure it out. I'm learning. I need to find foods that I really enjoy.
mhm.
I also Oh, hold on. I'm like, I have 2 trains of thoughts here. I'm like, one, I forgot the first one. What was I saying? I'm like, I
But
remember the second one, but I forgot the first one. My
no,
mind just switches so fast. I'm like, Brittany, one point at a time.
no,
Um,
so we're talking about stevia and your matcha because 'cause you're
oh,
making that
I
stick.
remember. Yes, I
Okay.
remember now. So instead of my sweet treat, because I like my sweets, I like to have like a dessert at night or, so I'm using the stevia instead, which is, it's okay. It gives me flashback again to my bodybuilding days because I use
Yeah,
stevia in everything. But and then I like pulled away from stevia anyways, but it's okay. It's not terrible.
yeah.
And then instead of a sweet treat, what I really love actually, I bought a bunch of almonds and I haven't done this in a long time. I take just like raw almonds and I bake them in the oven.
Mm.
And those are so good with some blueberries because I could have some blueberries. So I'll take like a handful of blueberries and my baked almonds. And I really enjoy that. It's been doing it. It's not my chocolate. It's not
But
my
you can
chocolate.
you can have chocolate.
Well, like raw cacao with no sugar in it.
No, so I tell my clients you can have 90% and above. And so what I would do is I would melt 90% dark chocolate and then mix it with the almonds and blueberries and then you could freeze them or like put them in a fridge little bites to go.
Um,
It's really good. Or you can make your own chocolate and you can sweeten it with stevia. But I personally like I'm fine with 90% dark chocolate and above. And it's really good for
okay.
those moments when you want to melt it and add blueberries in it. It's so good. Or
Okay, okay. I could even take like 90%, chop some up and mix
yes,
it with like a little trail mix with like the
exactly.
okay, that's good. But
Yeah,
even without the chocolate, like I really like the almonds baked because they taste so much better baked, you guys. They
so
taste
much
so
better.
good baked.
Yeah.
They're so good with some blueberries. And then the other thing that I was going to say, I also, because I'm going to be eating a lot more like meat now, I just want to be so mindful of like where I source my meat from. And an ad just happened to pop up on my Instagram. And I know the universe is divine. They're showing me things kind of like how you entered my life and just like, little, just like support, little supports. What came up as an ad randomly on my phone without even like talking about it, because I know like your phone listens to you and it'll like show you ads based on what you talk about, but I wasn't even talking about this. It was an ad for, it was a delivery service for meat, like a meat delivery service, all from, so I live in the province of BC, British Columbia for those in other parts of the world. um, and it's specifically, they specifically get all of their meat from local farms from around BC, and there's no GMOs, there's no added hormones. It's like clean meat basically. And they do a delivery once a month. So I got my first delivery just like a couple days ago. Yeah, so I'm super, it just makes me feel good knowing that I'm getting, and that was what the fish I had yesterday was also from this subscription box. So it just feels good. I feel good like getting, because this is a whole other thing, like kind of like off topic, on topic. Back in 2023, I had like an awakening or a deeper understanding surrounding how important like the foods that we consume, like more than just like a vegetable versus like rotten food. It's like where it's sourced from. And I actually went after this like kind of awakening that I had surrounding it. I stopped eating meat for about a year. I went pescatarian for about a year because I really understood at a deeper level, just like how these animals are taken care of, all of the fear and the hormones, and how that really does affect you when you consume that food. Now, I'm not trying to put out fear. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to put out fear. I'm a big believer in also just like praying over your food as well, because that mindset shift can really make a difference as well. So again, if you're listening, I don't want to like put out fear as well, because I also understand in the economy we live in, yeah, unfortunately, like the like the healthier options are always the more freaking expensive option. So again, I don't want to like push out more fear. Know that your mind is more powerful than anything. But I had this deeper understanding that really hit me, and I cut out meat for a while as a result of that, and then just realizing like, okay, I don't need to cut out meat, but just being very mindful of like where I consume it, where it comes from, without being obsessive, of course, you know what I'm saying. And it just felt so good to like, I'm like supporting local farms. I know that's better for my health. I'm going to be consuming more of this, so I want to make sure it's like sourced ethically. Yeah, so it's called NICU Farms, not sponsored, you guys. Paying for this for my own with my own money completely. They have no idea I'm even talking about them right now. But if you live in BC, if you happen to live in BC, NIKU, I think, or NIKKU, something like that, NICU Farms, and yeah, they source their meats and stuff from local farms around BC and deliver it right to your door once a month, and you get to pick and choose what's in the box. So yeah, it's awesome.
Ooh, sorry. You froze, I
Mm.
got
Oh, did I
it.
freeze? Yeah,
That's okay.
Zencaster does that sometimes. No, you're good. Anyways, I'm trying to think. We're talking a lot about the gut and the food. Your work that you do, because you work with, because I know we talked a little bit about like what you do. You work with groups of people. Do you do individual work as well? And just kind of like, is it specifically Candida that you really help people with, or is there anything like outside of that as well?
Yeah, no, so essentially my job is to heal the gut microbiome. So it's
Right.
anyone that has too little good gut bacteria and
Mhm.
any type of pathogen in the body. So I do stool testing. It's optional in my
Right.
program. No one has to do the stool test,
Mhm.
but it is optional. And I do find, again, so many people, I can be very confident that most people have dysbiosis, which is an imbalance of gut flora, meaning
Mhm.
too little good gut bacteria or some
Mhm.
type of pathogen. So
Mhm.
I especially specialize in Candida because that's what I'm most known for is the
Got it.
yeast
Okay.
that come with yeast.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
which can be vaginal yeast infections.
Mhm.
It can be the oral thrush. It can be
Mhm.
like skin issues, bloating, all of that stuff. But essentially, your gut is just so powerful. It's your second
Yeah.
brain, and
Mhm.
it also affects on a mental and spiritual level. And I just, again, that's why my program is mind, body, and spirit. It's not just the physical because
Mhm.
it's impossible. We're these beautiful, energetic beings in a
Mhm.
physical body. How do we not talk about
Mhm.
the spiritual aspect?
Yeah, yeah, I'm just like personally, I'm so excited to see all of that come together like as I this eliminates from my body, because I've been also too, when you're living with something for so long, you don't really realize how it's impacting you because you're used to it.
Yes,
You
100%.
know?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like in a partnership. So I'm working with someone right now who is on, she had a lot of dysbiosis in her gut. And as she started healing, she's noticed how much her partner is affecting her. She's like, I didn't realize how negative he is and how much he's weighing me down, because as I'm healing, I'm vibrationally letting go of things. And then I've
Mm,
awakened to how much his energy is affecting me. And I forgot
mm,
who I was.
mm,
And she's like, it's a little sad and scary. And that's why I think that process of having support, and especially a group of women, is really important, because it
yeah.
happens so much where people lose
Mm,
friendships. And you probably have learned in your own healing journey, when you
mm,
start to elevate and not entertain negativity and
yeah.
gossip and all those things that people kind of tend to, you change. And if you
Yeah.
say no to wine, people get triggered. Like, what do you mean no? We always do
Mm,
wine night. And you're like, it just doesn't align with me right now. And that's okay.
yeah.
I want to spend time
Yeah.
with you, but they get triggered by that. Your
Yeah. Yeah.
choices,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
yeah, it happens so much on a spiritual level,
Yeah.
really.
Ooh, I'm excited. Like, I'm really excited to see
Yeah.
this take form and to take shape. And yeah, it's funny too, because I'm going to Costa Rica at the end of April, excuse me, to sit with ayahuasca. And it'll be like the first time in a year. And just the timing of it is interesting. It's like I'm going through this big cleanse and then before sitting with her, which I know is never a coincidence. So yeah, I'm a little nervous, to be honest. I'm a little nervous because I know like when you're really clear, the medicine it works through you more, right? So and she's an intense worker. So we'll see how that goes. I'm partly nervous, but I'm excited and yeah, I'm really excited. And yeah, woo, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'll obviously keep you informed. And for those listening, I'll let you guys know. I'll probably be talking on my stories too, just kind of like chatting about like what works for me, what's not working for me, food and stuff like that, if anybody else is like moving through any of that stuff. But I'm curious, I don't know if anyone listening is having any problems with their gut or discomfort there, any recommendations that you would have for them?
Yeah, 100%. So I think it's really important not to go 0 to 100, which is what we talked about. I'm so proud of you for easing in.
It was a small ease in, but I'm easing in.
That's so good. Yeah, it can get really overwhelming with the information online. And so I always say, week by week, when you're mentally in a state of, okay, I'm ready for change, I'm ready for transformation, I always say, like, tell your friends, tell your family, tell whoever you're living with, I'm doing this for my highest good, my highest purpose. I'm excited. I'm not eliminating food for any negative reasons. Because when you set the tone with energy around you, it really, really helps, because some people will get concerned and be like, why aren't you eating that? Or they'll take offense when you go to someone's house, like, why aren't you
Right.
eating that? And that's a big conversation that we have. So really just like getting that place mentally, and then week by week adding in one thing that serves your highest good and highest purpose and your healing journey on a mental, spiritual, and physical. So of course, like, you have a lot of that mental and spiritual like experience, and you're already practicing a lot of those things. But for some people, you can eat healthy but still be mentally in a victim mindset, or not, you don't know how to love yourself. Like, I had a client say, I said I love you for the first time in the mirror, and so like sometimes that's where it needs to start. Not, I just need
Mhm.
to remove sugar and all my problems will go away. No,
Right.
babe, you have to
Right.
love yourself to choose the foods that love you, and it starts there too, right?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
yeah, I would say every week, one thing you add in that is mentally, spiritually, physically going to serve you, and then one thing you want to remove that's not
Mhm.
serving you. It can be food again, it can be a self-love practice, it can be sitting in silence or connecting with nature. And each week you just continuously add on until you feel like you're at a place where you're able to consistently maintain something that is healing you. And as you know too, like, consistency is everything. You
Mhm.
can you can't just choose to be like, yeah, I'm gonna love myself today or for 1 month, and then I'm gonna go back to the toxic people that make me feel like bad.
Yeah.
So it is a journey where you transform, and some things get peeled away, and it can be
Yeah.
sad, but it can also be,
Yeah.
again, really uplifting and life changing. So I'd
Yeah.
say week is where you want to start for sure.
Lifestyle. It's changing your
Yeah.
lifestyle. It's not like a job. It's not like it's like one day on, one day off, or on during the week, off on the weekends, right?
Yeah.
Lifestyle. And yeah, I really love your approach to it. Like I know when we were chatting and stuff, I love how you were talking about too. Because I remember when we were first chatting, you said to me, like, meditate on why am I a host for
Yes.
Candida? Why am I
Yeah.
a host for this? Why is my body, and I was like, interesting. I've never, really thought of it in that way. And there was something else I was going to say about your approach as well, but it's slipping my mind. But anyways, yeah, I just love your approach to all of it because yeah, it is very mind, body, spirit. And oh, this is what you said earlier. I remember now. Just the way you frame it. I'm not gonna say it because I don't know the exact words you use, but something about um temporary restriction. Do you know what I'm talking about? I love how you frame that. I'm like, I don't know I don't want to speak wrong though. So
Yes, no, absolutely. Okay, yeah. So essentially, I think anywhere from 3 to 5 months of healing journey on the physical aspect of the food is important and needed. It shouldn't be like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, but if you have these symptoms for quite a long time, it should be anywhere between 3 months and 5 months. So the way that my program is set up is the first month you ease in slowly, which is kind of what Brittany's doing right now, where she's like, okay, I'm getting used to the breakfast and I'm slowly switching up the maple syrup. That's exactly where you want to be in that first month. And for me, I'm all about decoding root causes. So Brittany already did the stool test. She knows she has candida. She understands where she is on a mental, spiritual level. So I think all of that is beautiful. Also, it's important to know if you have stomach acid issues, liver, gallbladder stuff, making sure your detox pathways are open. And then for the detox component, so for my program, we do 3 months of detox. And essentially, the way that I like to describe it is we are putting boundaries on food temporarily,
mhm,
and they're not good food versus bad food. So, for
mhm.
example, sweet potato
I
is
love it.
a beautiful food. Nobody should ever be afraid of a sweet potato.
Mhm,
But when you are in overgrowth and you have so much of this yeast in your body,
mhm,
unfortunately, it can be used as a food source for some
mhm,
people, for most people, and the candida can grab onto it, lay eggs, overgrow and multiply, and then that's where it
mhm,
can become a little bit of an issue. So
mhm,
we take it out temporarily just for healing, just for our body to breathe, just to catch up to that
mhm,
balance.
mhm,
And then in month 5, we slowly reintroduce those foods back.
mhm.
And you'd be surprised because so many people feel so good by the end of the detox that you're almost afraid to reintroduce foods back. And I
Yeah,
always never want anyone to be afraid of food because
yeah,
these foods are so beautiful.
yeah.
And I always say, look up the benefits of when you add the food back. Like, okay,
Mhm,
I'm adding sweet potato back into my diet. What are the benefits? Look it up. And as you
mm,
eat it, you're so excited. You put intention, just like you talked
yeah,
about. Your intention and your mindset will always overpower,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
The little
Mhm.
candida that could potentially feed off of it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And you want to get to a place where you completely come off of a detox. We're not going to eat
Mhm.
McDonald's and we're not going to drink beers, right? But
Right.
we want to be able to eat holistically, unlimitedly,
Yeah.
like, and feel
Mhm.
balance,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, that's the best way that I like to describe it is 1 month ease in, 3 month detox, but detox is not severe. Detox is setting boundaries with people, food, and
Mhm.
places that don't serve your highest good and highest
Mhm.
purpose temporarily. And then 1 month you ease off and you're in that balance maintenance phase,
Yeah.
essentially. Yeah.
No, I love that. I love how you frame that. And
Yeah.
because I remember when we were chatting, you said that I'm like, I love that perspective and just that, it's those small little mindset shifts, right? That really make a big difference. Curious when you're easing off of the diet, like reintroducing foods, would you recommend like, excuse me, would you recommend reintroducing them kind of like 1 week at a time, the same way we went into the diet, if that makes sense?
Yeah, no, that's such a great question. So I don't think you need an entire week for one food because it would take a long time. I
Mhm.
usually recommend 2 to 3 days.
Okay.
So, and only introduce one thing at a time so that you're very confident in what each food is making you feel. So let's say you bring back sweet potato, great, feels good. I feel happy. Now sweet potato should be in your diet. And then you can add in, let's say, beans. Maybe beans were causing some discomfort or gas before.
Mhm.
Great, you feel good. Add in white rice and then
Mhm.
add in maple syrup, add in honey, whatever it is. And then you essentially just add in one thing at a time. Be very
Mhm.
mindful of the reaction, but also don't let the reaction control you. If for
Right.
some reason there is a little bit of a reaction, it's just a mental note, but it doesn't
Yeah.
mean we're not eating that food. It's just,
Right.
oh, I noticed that when I'm having the honey, I'm getting an
Mhm.
itchy scalp. So I'm just going to be mindful not to consume it every day. And maybe
Mhm.
it's a rotation food for me.
Right, right. No, I love that. I had a question about rice actually. I could have brown rice. I could have brown rice.
So technically, again, there's so many different rules. So I'm not here to say what's right and what's wrong. What
Right.
works for me and my clients is brown basmati rice. Because
Okay.
brown rice is technically, some people would say like brown rice, it doesn't have like the full fiber, or sometimes it's just white rice and it's just still as starchy. Depends. Like brown rice is less starchy than white rice, but some people don't make it very well, essentially. It can be
Got it.
quite,
Okay.
I think brown basmati rice has the best like glycemic index for the
Got
Candida
it.
cleanse.
Okay, yeah. Because I have a bag of brown rice that I always buy from Costco. It's the rice I normally eat anyways, but I'm like, I don't know what kind of brown rice it is, so I need to go then check that. But anyways, I'm not gonna stress about it.
You
But
don't got it. Yeah, for
no,
sure.
yeah,
Just
because yeah, because I was just thinking, I'm like, I wanna make sure I'm eating enough carbs because that's the only thing with this cleanse is, like, there's not many carbs other than vegetables, but that's still not, like you know what I mean? 'Cause, I have to eliminate oatmeal, sweet potato, like, fruit, right? You get that those are carbs, and I'm like, I'm not necessarily trying to go into ketosis here,
no, you
you
don't want
know?
ketosis, yeah.
Mhm.
So no, so fruits are allowed, just the low glycemic fruits. So like blueberries, raspberries,
Blueberries, yeah,
yeah, green apples. I actually allow pears on my protocol, grapefruit. And
okay,
then in certain instances, you can have a banana that's on the green side because the
okay,
green banana is not very ripe and it doesn't
okay,
have a lot of sugar in it. When it gets
okay,
to the brown spots where it's nice and sweet, I know it's good for banana bread, which is why it's nice and sweet. But
yes,
let's say, for example, you wanted to bake something or added a
mhm,
little bit of meat to your smoothie, a
right.
green banana would be totally
Okay.
acceptable.
Okay, that's good to know. Do you know what? I'm gonna buy green apples and almond
Yeah,
butter with almond butter.
with cinnamon, one of my
Mm.
favorite snacks.
Oh
So
my
good.
gosh. I'm gonna have to I went grocery shopping yesterday. I cleaned out my fridge yesterday and like I had like a bunch of foods that I can't eat anymore. So I like gave it all to my neighbor. I'm like, "Hey neighbor," I'm like, "So I'm da 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 da." And he's awesome. Like we're friends, we chat a lot. And I was like, no pressure, but I'm like, there's a lot of food. I'm like, I don't want it to go to waste. I'm like,
Yeah.
so and he's like, I'll take it. So I'm like, and he's like this really big dude. So like I know that there's, he'll eat it. So
Yeah,
it feels, it's like a win-win. He got a free grocery shop. I'm cleaning out my fridge and yeah, I did a grocery haul yesterday, just like, buying things. I'm like, I'm gonna have to go back and buy pears, green apple, almond butter. That's something that I forgot. So just mental notes for myself. But I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out as time goes, figure out what works, what doesn't work, what I like. And I feel like too, like, did you experience this? Like your taste buds changing? Like I feel like that's gonna happen.
I love that you mentioned that. Yes, food tastes different,
Mhm.
especially when you go back to introducing foods. Like, whoa, I thought this was not sweet at all. Like when I used to have sweet potato, it was just a potato. And when I got off the cleanse and I tried sweet potato, I was like, why is it so sugary? And it was like a good thing, but I was like, oh
Yeah.
wow, like this is candy. This tastes so good.
Mm.
I had a client who had like the Super Bowl party last year and they were off their cleanse and they're like, I just tried a Kit Kat for fun. And they were like, it was nothing the way that I remembered it. They're like, I didn't even care to have more. And I was like, it's true. It's your taste buds do change. Of course.
Yeah.
Our bodies have that ability of neuroplasticity, right? It's like if when someone goes blind, their other senses starts to heighten. When we take out certain foods, our taste buds change. And that's the like beautiful thing about our body. It adapts to where we're at and what we need. It's so lovely.
So interesting. Yeah. So I'm curious to see how that like shifts and changes too. Cause now I love my maple syrup in my coffee in the morning. And when I'm able to reintroduce that back, like I'll probably still like maple syrup, but I'll probably end up using like half the amount or something. Like,
Yeah.
we'll see. I mean, who knows? But I probably won't need as much to like
You
get that
won't.
same. Yeah.
Yeah, and like as humans, we used to practice eating a lot of bitter foods, and it's really important for our stomach acid. It's really important for our digestion and our liver and our gallbladder, and we just think it's disgusting now. And
Mhm.
I used to have to drink a dandelion tea with maple syrup, same thing, like maple syrup or matcha. Matcha is quite bitter with,
Mhm.
all the sweetener things, right? Because you're
Mhm.
used to it. And then it's like the people who go from a very sweet coffee to a black coffee. They're like, well, now I love it. I don't know. I just got used
Mhm.
to it. You really
Mhm.
can make that switch, and once your body you realize, like, the bitter is really good for you, it has so many
Mhm.
benefits. I
Mhm.
also wanted to tell you to not be afraid of your fruit consumption. Do not count, like, that was this too much fruit? Because my clients will
Mhm.
say, like, "Maybe I ate too many fruits today." Please
Right.
don't worry about that. Just focus
Okay.
on the foods that are feeling whole. You need to listen to your intuition. As women, we cycle
Yeah.
differently and crave
Yeah.
differently. Some days you're gonna need a lot more carbohydrates. As long
Yeah.
as you're focusing on the carbs that
Yeah.
are fueling this specific healing journey, do not
Mhm.
count them. Do not think it was too many.
Okay.
You know, because there's some days that you're gonna feel like you need more meat and you need more
Mhm.
fats. You
Mhm.
just have to intuitively listen to your body and to not get into that state where you're trying to calculate.
No, yeah,
Just
and that's not that I appreciate that. That hasn't been my approach. Woo, I'm excited. I'm like getting emotional as I'm talking about it too. Like it's just so yeah, like just like I'm like trying not to cry. I cry enough
You
online, you
should
guys.
cry.
Like
You should cry.
I cry enough online. My YouTube channel, I get into passion and I start crying. I'm like, okay, here we go again. But no, it just I feel like showing me how far I've come because I know
Yeah,
whenever I've done any sort of restriction in the past for whatever reason, I'm constantly obsessed about portion size. And I haven't I mean I bought blueberries and yesterday I had like because I know that, I didn't count it. I had, like, a couple times through the day, I took, like, a handful, and I'm like, this is what I want right now. It's better than going and eating, like, a Kit Kat bar or, something that's, like not that I really eat Kit Kat bars. I actually don't really like Kit Kat bars, which is interesting. I don't know why. I love chocolate, but Kit Kats just don't do it for me.
no.
I don't know. People think I'm crazy. They're like, "What?" And I'm like, "I don't know what it is, but chocolate, I do love to." Anyways, I'm going on like a weird tangent, but no, I appreciate that because yeah, and that hasn't been my mindset, which I feel like is just shows reflect, it makes me reflect of like the growth and yeah, I feel ready for this. And also, side note, thank you for that cracker recommendation.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
funny because so I bought them, but it's funny because last year I bought those same crackers. I forget why I bought them, but like I got rid of the box for them and I just had the like bag because it comes in like 2 bags in the box. And
Yeah.
I remember loving those crackers. I was like, these crackers are so good, but I didn't remember what they were because I got rid of the box. So literally when I bought them again, I was like, oh my God. I'm like, these are the crackers because they're good crackers.
Oh, I
So
love you're so divinely supported. It's so beautiful.
yeah, it's so funny. So those actually I just like will have as a little snack. I'm a little peckish. I just grab a handful of them and I've just been like eating those as a snack and they're good.
Yeah.
They do the trick. They're a nice little snack. So I love that they're like Candida friendly because they've been yeah, I'm like looking at them right now. They're like sitting on my counter.
Yeah. For anyone listening, it's Simple Mills almond crackers. Those are
I'm
really
like,
good.
yeah, Simple Mills almond crackers. I
Yeah.
got them from Costco. Oh, and I also got those like electrolytes that you were talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Question on the electrolytes, and maybe this is and again, I don't wanna, like, instill fear, but I saw, like, a video of a woman, and she was talking about how she was always putting, like, electrolytes in her, water or whatever, and she ended up getting, like it's, like, a lot for the kidneys. Is that because like,
Oh.
I mean, I need to find that video, so that was just kind of in the back of my mind, but I don't know if that's just, like, her, but it was because of all the electrolytes she had. She ended up having, like, kidney, I don't know exactly what, but something I think with because I think that's what filters it. I think it was the kidney, something like that, and she was basically, like, warning, like, "You don't need all of these electrolytes, like, the way" and I don't know, like I said, so that's just kind of in the back of my mind. However, what I really like is, in my really big water bottle, I put, like, the electrolyte packet in, squeeze lemon with some salt, and
Yeah.
it's really good.
That's so yummy. Well, lemon with salt is an electrolyte in itself. So maybe do those two things separately. Yeah.
I And I think the reason I did that though is because the electrolyte packet, I don't know, it's good, but I think I'm gonna do half the packet next time because it was a little sweet for me. So
Yes.
the lemon kind of countered that.
Oh,
Um,
that's
it
perfect.
countered that sweetness, but,
The
and then
salt
I
though.
like putting the salt with the lemon, but maybe just don't do the salt then. I could put lemon and the electrolyte.
Yeah, lemon the electrolyte, or just do lemon and salt water because that's an electrolyte in itself.
Right.
Yeah,
That's what I did this morning, just lemon and salt water, and that was really
that's
good.
perfectly fine. And then going on to this woman's story, which is like, I know it's sad, but unfortunately, like everyone is gonna have different experiences.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I
Yeah.
don't think it's something for people to be afraid of because to
Mhm.
be honest, most of us are magnesium deficient. And
Okay.
electrolytes are a lot of magnesium. And so maybe instead of doing like full dose, I personally do agree with doing like a half dose or
Mhm.
like half a scoop or quarter scoop. And it doesn't need to be daily, but I do
Mhm.
find a benefit drinking electrolytes every day. I know a friend that when they drink the electrolytes, they get quite swollen. They don't like the feeling of it. So
Oh,
yeah,
interesting.
so it's truly individualized. And
It's
that's
so
why like
different. Yeah, yeah,
wellness
yeah.
wellness is never gonna be something that is the same thing for everybody. So everyone just listen to your body. I wouldn't be afraid of electrolytes. If you are afraid of buying electrolytes, and yeah, you can 100% make your own electrolyte at home. Like it's not too hard. So,
Just
you
don't
know?
buy an electrolyte packet and put lemon and salt in it.
Let's not do that. I'm glad you told me.
I only did that once, and I was like, "Oh, this is really good. I'm gonna do this again." Brittany, do not do that again.
Maybe don't do that. But it, again, it's not like detrimental. You're gonna be
No,
okay.
yeah, I'm not worried. I'm not worried, and that's why I said I'm like I don't want to scare anyone or scare because like I it's in the back of my head, but I'm like I'm still I still bought the electrolyte pack. It's just it's that nice little if you want like some more flavor, or like a nice little sweet,
Yeah,
something else. So yeah. Anyways, I'm curious if you have like any and anything else that you want to say to the audience, any piece of advice or anything at all.
yeah, absolutely. I feel like one, I want to say on a spiritual level, and like maybe because you've worked with a lot of clients as well, I want to emphasize, especially with like everything coming out right now, the effect of women being in toxic relationships or any type of sexual abuse. Like it can affect the physical body. And I get a lot of
Mhm.
clients like that, and it's not talked about enough, where
Mhm.
trauma is being stored in the physical, and then all these symptoms are appearing,
Mhm.
especially like vaginal yeast infections. I see that a lot with clients who have had a toxic partner and unaligned partner,
Mhm.
or again, sexual abuse. And I think it's important to mention that so that their voices can be heard or maybe their symptoms could be understood because sometimes they feel
Mhm.
like they're in this box where they don't know why they're feeling the way that they're feeling. So
Mhm.
I want to just like send love to anyone going through any of those
Mhm.
experiences. It's important to, ugh, I don't know. I just get emotional thinking about it. But yeah, I really want to send love to anyone that has been through that because it will affect the physical and you're not alone. And there are people out here that are like gonna be here for you, essentially. And then on a physical level, if you're experiencing things and you're not sure why you're experiencing things, getting to the root cause again, mentally, spiritually, physically is important. If you don't know where to start, try to, like I asked Brittany, like sit with it. Sometimes you don't need to research more. You need to sit with yourself and you actually have way more answers than you think that you do.
Mhm.
And you can scan your body and say, like, where is this coming from? Where are the symptoms coming from? Please show me in signs. Please show me in people. Bring me the right people, places, and things to help me get to the place that I need to. I remember when I felt lost in my body, I just asked for that out loud because when you start to research and you get all these things in the back of your head, like even Brittany mentioning the electrolytes, like it's really hard not to unthink those things.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
less outward, more
Mhm.
inward, like less research and just like sit with yourself and say, like, what do I need? What do we need to do? And
Mhm.
as feminines, we're really beautiful at attracting. So be in the energy of attracting the right people. Just like I randomly voice note Brittany. I had no idea why. I was like, I'm being divinely called to send this girl a voice note. I don't know if she will see my voice note, but I'm gonna just give the voice note. And she like was like, I never checked my DMs, but I
Mhm.
some reason picked yours.
Yeah.
So you are so powerful when you're in the intention of like attracting things for your highest good and highest purpose.
Mhm.
So just never, yeah, just know that you are powerful. You don't need to go out there searching for things. Things can come to you in alignment.
Mhm.
Of course, it
Mhm.
requires your hard work and consistency, but I know most of you can do that. It's just the hard part is just sitting in silence and scanning your body, understanding root causes. I think the stool test is very helpful. Of all the stool tests, or of all the lab work, I've done all the different types of testing,
Mhm.
because the gut is connected to your brain, the gut is connected to
Mhm.
your hormones, the gut is just connected to so many different things. So if you are to invest in a test, I think stool testing is the right way. At least one place to start. So that's what I wanted to share.
Thank you. No, thank you for all of that. And thank you so much for your time. Where can everyone find you?
Yeah. So I'm Shaz, but my page is Shaz. I know we say Z in Canada. Ness Wellness. So Shazness Wellness everywhere, like Instagram, website. You can directly DM me on Instagram. I'd love to connect with you and help you, or save space for you, whatever you need. Or on my website, I have a free mini course that you can start with as well.
Amazing. And I'll have all of that linked in the description below, in the show notes below for those listening. Yeah, so definitely check Shaz out, especially if you got some mysterious gut stuff going on. Yeah, definitely check her out. It's yeah, again, so funny just the timing of us connecting, because yeah, like my DMs are very overwhelming for me. I don't even respond to my text messages. Like it's like I always tell my friends and stuff, I'm like, if you need to get a hold of me, call me. Like,
Yeah.
give me a call. If I don't answer, I will call you back. Text messages, though, it's a good 50-50. Anyways, um, but thank you again so much for your time. This was just such a lovely conversation. And for those listening, thank you so much for being with us. Thanks so much for sticking to the end. Oh, and really quick, since we're talking for those who have made it to the end, I'm just going to, a couple announcements on my end of things. You guys, I am starting a new mentorship, woo, which I'm really excited about. That officially starts on March 19th. Now, this is going to be half the length of the mentorship I'm running currently. So this is a 10-week mentorship, and I'm really excited about it. Specifically, it's a group. We're going to move through my intuition course, my ego course, and then differentiating the two. And the goal is to help you anchor deeper into trusting yourself, being able to become more aware of the voice of your ego, because the ego is not the enemy. We need it. It's a necessary part of this experience. However, when we are unaware of that voice, it can run the show, and it can keep us stuck, and it can keep us out of our power, and all of that stuff. So if you're interested in it, you can check out I'll put the link down in the show notes as well for more information. We start March 19th. It runs 10 weeks. So yeah, if you want to anchor deeper into yourself, I'm really excited about that. And also Holly and I's retreat is coming up as well. So all of that will be in the show notes below. But anyways, with all of that said, thank you all for being with us today, and we will see you next Wednesday. Bye.
As we wrap up today's episode, we want to extend our deepest gratitude for joining us on this journey. Your support does not go unnoticed. If you enjoyed this episode and find value in our conversations, please take a moment to leave a review. Your feedback not only helps us grow, but also allows us to reach more people who can benefit from our community of healing and support. Every review, every rating makes a difference. Thank you for being a part of the Multiple Truths podcast family. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the Multiple Truths podcast. Keep speaking your truth and spreading your light. We love you, and we'll talk to you next Wednesday.